Continuing on, I'm going to kind of tackle some more UI related to this style guide. I was just talking to Alyssa about the possibility of extending her original logo and maybe creating a second style guide so we can choose from maybe this new one or that one to see what she prefers. I was also looking at this and noticed the body copy isn't quite what I'd hoped after looking at it again, I should say. So I might experiment here real quick with a different one. Something, I don't know, maybe more system font-y ready. I don't know. Let me experiment here. You know what, like we did before, why don't I go to Google Fonts. And you don't have to use a web font every time, or Google Fonts for that matter. If you have a paid font library like you like to use, like on my agency site, I use fonts from typography.com. They're awesome fonts, or typefaces, whatever you want to call those. And I think we might try maybe a different that's what we currently have. This one's here. Nothing's really standing out. Railways, it's too light. Let's see, Source Sans Pro. I used to like that one quite a bit. Let's see what that looks like. Source. There we go. Source Sans Pro. Let's move this. Yeah, I actually do like that. I think what is kind of bugging me is maybe the fact that my body copy is kind of repeating itself, kind of the same generated text, so I need it to be more authentic. All right, cool. I think that works. I might update this. This is using that old headings font still, so let's try it with source code or source sans. That looks pretty good. On our H4 is what I would use this for, say a long form blog post or something. All right. So if you're doing this yourself, this kind of systematic approach, I definitely encourage, when you're getting to a stopping point, definitely take a break from it, walk away, come back, and reevaluate, I guess, what you've chosen. It's like some of these colors I can't say I'm completely sold on. They're a little muted, but I think in terms of using a lot of white space, you don't want to be too contrast involved, if that's a thing. Basically, don't make it too edgy so your eyes actually hurt when you look at the color. So I think that's something I'm going to try to maybe continue on with. Sadly, the button text needs to update here too, so let me do that. I actually might use bold weight. Yeah, it's too bold. Semi regular. I actually like regular. Okay, let's get into maybe what a form field might look like. You could do this the traditional way, which is this kind of creating boxes. Height I typically use is like 48, which is actually huge. So let's do 40 and like 400 just to have a basic width and height. Obviously don't want this as the color. Might have a very light stroke as the bounding body. I like the look of a slightly rounded edge on form fields. Not like your default bootstrap style, but just something of that nature. You can go nuts with the effects here. Maybe just a little bit of inner shadow would be nice. Like so. It's actually kind of weird. I think it's because the fill needs to be white. So let's do that. There we go, yeah. And let's adjust this color to be way lighter. And we can do a touch more. And this is if you want it to have this kind of embossed look. So like there's actually like a depth to it. I don't know that I'm digging it though. I think I'm gonna go without. Just like that, looks pretty decent. I might even decrease this to 2 pixels on the corner radius. Just a little bit is all I'm going for. And then we can do a label. Let's just say like name for now. That is not our style we want. Let's start with the body. Apparently I can't use that here. Huh. Okay. That's odd. Let's use our palette. Let's go back and make this like what were we using for this? What color is this? 444. Okay. Let's do the same here. And get rid of this. No underline. We don't want it to be italic. A lot of people will tell you, well, why don't you just put this in here and save space? You can. I mean, that's great for me from accessibility and from usability standpoint. On a phone, that makes it really challenging to know what you're typing in, because think about it, if you're in that field and you forget actually what field it is, there's no indication for like a form label. So I tend to kind of go old school and just always keep the labels just above. I get bashed for that sometimes, but it does not. At the end of the day, it's about being easy to use and stuff. It's more than aesthetics. So email, name, let's make a text area. I don't know, just do message or so, something like that. Rename. Okay, and I believe that should be good. So then we'd want to use a button for like a submit field. And currently I don't have these saved as like a symbol or an asset, so I'm actually going to make use of the assets pane over here and just save these in. Actually, those were the hover states, so let me do this real quick. If you've never used the assets pane in Affinity Designer, you can create a new one. I have other ones in this app, and they basically get saved inside the application, so you can access them at any time, which is useful. One thing I want to do real quick before I start doing this is just name these sections. You can create new subcategories, so you can group things in the way you like. Might do this with form elements or something. So I'll put buttons in this top one. We want to start with this one. It's a good idea to rename your group or your layer, so you have that over here if you were to hover over it. First, I don't think you can rename. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, so up to you if you want to do that first. So I'm going to start with this. We'll do our ghost buttons. And I don't know if there's a real term for these, but I call them ghost buttons. All right. The hover states, I don't know that I'll use them in an actual static design, but they're there for reference. So at this point, we can just pull one of these out. And I can change the text on it to be submit. Cool. I don't know, it kind of looks weird right aligned, so. And maybe we'll do like a form heading and intro or something. So let's like contact us. And we can do just a blurb of text, maybe saying, hey, contact us. Yeah. And this needs to be our body. For some reason, the body style is not working. Odd. Okay. This has no style, or no, it does. Apply body to. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, okay, it wasn't working the way we liked. So this is way too much text that would probably be there. And this text frame needs to be smaller. So we could do something like that. So that's kind of the gist of repeatable elements on the screen. From here, we basically need, I think, photography. I don't know that I'll go into that yet. We need to shoot some photography still, so I can get photos of Alyssa in her element doing her thing. And then we can go from there. I might experiment, see if we do an inverted version of this logo, which tends to happen if you have a photo-esque background or something darker. You need a lighter logo. So why is that? All weird. Oh, soft light. Yeah, I don't want that. Let me fix that. So assuming, let's say it's just a basic dark background. This one, there we go, needs to be white. And I dig that, that looks kind of cool. The circle in the middle needs to be white. All right, so let's actually group that. We could just do like logo dark, logo light. We can even get some styles for like a modal overlay. I might try that. Let me make our canvas a bit bigger. With these, I mean, modals, I have a love-hate relationship. I really don't love them, actually. There's no love, but they are useful in certain cases where you don't want to redirect a user or something to a different page. You just need some sort of input or trigger to get a confirmation from them or something like that. Let's see what we can do here. Like so, maybe rounded corners a bit again. We'll do like 3 very minute rounded corners. Actually might have a stroke, not that dark. And that stroke's too large as well, so let's do like a half. Okay. And notice these are pretty damn dark too. I might lighten those up and actually do the same. I'll just reduce the width. They look pretty good like that. So I'm the type of designer that this is how I get started. I will even go further to do more of a final design. But the way the world used to work is you would design the entire site and then code it. And nowadays, at least for me, I transition after a few design decisions are made and then go into actual development and then design in the browser. If you're comfortable with code, this is a great route to go. If not, that's okay too. If you just hand the complete design off to a developer, it's not a big deal. But since I do it all myself these days, it's just kind of the route I go. If you guys were curious, let's do. It's all white text right now. Hang on. There we go. Maybe we'll do that. And this will be, say, a larger modal. On the left side, I'll probably have some sort of photo. One thing I'll need to get is some just basic photography to use for now. Well, that didn't work. There you go. Go something like that. I like wide margins, if you haven't noticed. It gives the text breathing room. This feels large, but I think I'm just zoomed in. So we have that on this side. I think I might make this even bigger, like 600 pixels. And move it over. Like that. Then we can add a button. Maybe we'll use a secondary button here to subscribe. And this, I don't know that we'll even do something like that, but we might offer an incentive to, you know, subscribe to her newsletter of some sort. She plans to blog and stuff, so. All right, so I might make this more actual square-like. And then we need to add, let's go grab an image somewhere. I like to use this over Unsplash. Everything on Unsplash looks the same to me. Maybe just something like this to start. Ideally, it'd be an image of her. We'll just port this over. It's ginormous. Masking in Affinity Designer is kind of different than you're probably used to. It took me a long time to figure out the correct way to do things, and I still kind of struggle with it. So if you see me do a bunch of trial and error, this is why. This is kind of how you do it. If you drag what you want to mask below the actual layer that is the masking layer, if you drop it just below, I don't know if you can see, there's a little highlight. You can do it this way, or there's another way where you drop it right next to it. You don't want that one, I don't think, in this case. So this is how that works. At this point, then you can just drag it wherever you want inside that image, which is nice. This photo isn't ideal, but I think it might serve its purpose. In fact, I'll probably just I think that works for now. It's nothing spectacular. And I'm dealing with having room for stuff right now. Oops. Do something like that. Okay. And obviously on a modal, you want to give the user a chance to just close it. They can do so by clicking off of it, or usually there is a close icon. I like to use some SVG icons I use all the time. It's this in typo resource. There's an actual domain if you go look for it. Though, now that I say that, I don't know if I like the close icon on this. If I can find it. Yeah, it's kind of rounded. We can try it. It's not bad. So this is embedded now, so I can't really edit it, but I can apply layer styles or layer effects to it. If you want to get around that, if you have the same issue, actually open that icon in Affinity Designer instead of just throwing it into your current design. So by that I just mean drag it to your icon. Here's the actual curve layer. You can throw it back in here and now it is editable. I probably will just use that so I can export it later as SVG. Just call it close, and let's change the color. I don't need a stroke, something light. I'm wondering if I should use something more like eye-catching there. I don't know. Or even use one of our primary colors as like this stroke. No. Okay. Let's leave it as is for now. I want to actually group these. Modal. We'll say large. Maybe we'll do one that's smaller. Oops. Well, come on. Let's ungroup. Or not. What the f... Where is the layer? I guess it's just in it. That's odd. Alright, let's try this. Weird. Okay. So we'll say like this one's just text only. We can leave it at like, I don't know, 300. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. I need more than that. Looks like 2 sentences. Something like that. That'll work. Okay, so this one's going to be modal small. I don't even know if we'll use these. I'm just kind of laying the groundwork if we do. I think that about wraps up this particular style guide. What we still need to do is maybe get some images as like an inspiration board in here. We can use, I think, this nice elegant base, and then on the images themselves, maybe we can use kind of a raunchier text, if that makes sense. So I don't know, like, let's experiment here. So what I'm thinking is like, I don't know, something more rustic, more humanistic is the word, I think. So basically hand-drawn. If I can find something of that style we like. I don't know that I have it immediately on. Maybe something so. Then maybe we can like make this image slightly dark. You add a little bit of overlay on it. There's no way this image is probably going to make it to the final stages, but something of this type would be kind of cool. So that is loud and proud, and then these are more elegant, like straight and to the point. That's kind of the route I think we want to head. So maybe I'll grab a couple more images to capture that. Let's just do like pregnant people, okay. Something like I don't know. I think what we're gonna try for is like lifestyle shots for her business. So it will be her on the phone behind the desk with a client, something like that, and not so portrait-y, if that makes sense. So we'll tie into what she actually does in real time is the idea, so people can understand who she is, that they're gonna, if they are interested in working with her, that they will work with her and not just be contracted by some third party or white label kind of thing. So I'm gonna grab a few images kind of in that realm, maybe some old over the shoulder shots. Obviously this is a dude, so that doesn't make sense for this, but same idea. It's not the right one. So my style guides, I like to combine both kind of an inspiration board and actual styles. Doing that helps me convey that look and feel across the board later on. It might be different for you. I think it's dependent on the designer. So if you're trying to mock exactly what I'm doing, I don't know that it will go well, but to each his own, you know. Alright guys, so I've got about just a handful of images here. These are very not probably how the end result will look, but they're just I guess an idea of the style we might go for in terms of setting, and like a head-on shot or over the shoulder shot, same here, or just kind of a lifestyle shot. So we'll probably explore more with that. I think the general concept behind all of the imagery will be actual kind of graphic based, so it's not just photos, it's actually like saying something or has some sort of branding on it. Maybe we'll tie into the actual logo and add that somewhere. Maybe this could be a cool preloader. I don't know. Just kind of toying with ideas right now. Maybe we'll steal this text again. I don't have any fancy quotes to use yet, but we will, I think, as time goes on. So I'm gonna maybe just repeat this for now. It could be even like one word thing. Alyssa's pretty good at creating that kind of stuff, so I'm gonna leave that to her. I think I'm just establishing the framework, so to speak, to use, I think. So that's kind of the idea. Might even do one that's just giant. We can explore a different color. Maybe make the image I don't know, I like white. And then maybe make this a different color. Swatches. something like that. Looks kind of funky. And we could do that effect here too. Let's say that green color. Maybe we'll do like a different filter, a multiply, soft. Hard to tell. Let me see if anything stands out. Well, one thing I know I could do is add a gradient map. Oops, did not mean to do that. If you hold Option while clicking one of these, it will apply it to that layer you're working on. If not, it will just add this as a new layer, so it'll apply everything below it, if that makes sense. Well, it didn't work for me that time, but hey, there we go. So gradient map is kind of funky. You can just make it completely, basically lose the pigment in the photo itself, so it does this. Or if you want, you can add a different color and it'll make it look kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the Spotify ads or something, but that's kind of the route they go. So that's just an idea of ways you can make photos look different but still appear kind of cool. I don't know if I like this that much, but it might be because of the amount of color, or if we just remove the overlay. It's kind of neat. A little dark though, but maybe I'll adjust the gradient to be not black but more, where's this? There we go. Muted, kind of like we have. You can kind of pick a color. Use this picker. And then we can go something like that. I don't know. Different ideas. Maybe we try a different text style. And I probably wouldn't render this actual text like as HTML. The image itself would just be saved out with the text on it, just for the sake of not loading another font. It's just a consideration. Just trying to see if I have anything else that might look good. It doesn't appear so. Okay, so there's different treatments to images. We'll probably, once we get real images in play, we'll do this all different, I'm sure. So I think this wraps up the style guide for this portion. I don't know if this is what we'll land on in terms of final. Obviously, I don't know that, but I'll be sharing this with Alyssa, and she'll kind of give me some feedback based on what I have so far. We may completely abandon this and go back to this branding. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of trying to open up new doors for her so she can see that there's more out there, I guess. I know that she knows that, but when you're working on your own branding, it is the, I don't know, for me anyway, it's the hardest thing in the world. I think at this point forward, I will either transition into design, or I'll come back with another style guide. I'll save you guys the trouble and not show you that entire process again. And from those two style guides, we'll kind of have a critique is the word I should use there. So between Alyssa and I, and from there we'll establish that which style guide is good to go. And then from there, I keep saying from there, going forward, we will begin the actual design of, say, the homepage. And if we're going to go with maybe a single page route, which might be an option based on the content she has, we might do that. But we also need to accommodate a blog, which I'm not sure if I want to use a built-in framework with anything else, or maybe Medium as the blog. And you can do that now, point your domain to Medium and that be your blog, which is kind of cool. We'll see. So look for that stuff to come. If you like this, I know it's a long process. It's kind of boring, but that's the process. Like or subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Lets me know that you want me to continue, and I will see you in the next video.